The number one reason for a K-1 visa denial is insufficient evidence of a bona fide relationship, which means whichever officer was looking at your packet might not have seen everything they wanted to see in order to prove that this relationship was genuine and 100% for the right reason. Some of those things that they're going to be looking for is a huge age gap, whether or not you got engaged a very short time after meeting. So for us, luckily we had known each other for about 6 years before we actually applied for ours, and so that wasn't a huge deal for us. But if you met one time and you met one day and you were engaged, that might be kind of a red flag.
Yeah, so another one of those things is language barriers. So if you both come from different countries and you're unable to communicate, or you may need to use a translator, that's also a red flag. A poor interview from the beneficiary is also another red flag. So what they're trying to gauge in an interview is how genuine is this relationship. So they'll look at your visa packet, ask you questions relating to how you met and all the rest of that. And if you can't communicate to them and be truthful in that interview, or seem a bit uneasy, that's a red flag for them.
Yeah, so just a tip from us to you is to make sure to take lots of photos, try to avoid selfies, and try to get other people either in on the photos or to take the photos of you. Make sure you keep your boarding passes, everything that will add to it being a bona fide relationship. So anything that can prove that you guys were in the same space, the same place. I know it can be a little bit awkward for us. I know it was awkward, like, oh, let's take a photo. But really it does help just that to like portray that it's a genuine relationship to the officer that is looking at your packet.
Yeah, because remember, the person who's picking up your packet has nothing to go on other than what you're giving them and providing them as evidence. Mm-hmm. So yes, you may look natural in person and you may take great photos and the rest of it, but once they receive your packet, they need to be able to see either through pictures, evidence of plane tickets, as Maddie mentioned, that, oh, okay, this is a genuine relationship. These people have invested time in seeing each other. There's a long line of communication in their text messages, emails, or letters and stuff that you've sent to each other throughout the years, months, or however long your relationship has gone on. So the key thing here is that you need to remember that whoever receives your packet needs to be convinced by what you provide them that this is a genuine, bona fide, and real relationship.
Yeah, and one more thing is that the red flags that we mentioned doesn't necessarily mean that you're automatically going to be denied. So don't get too upset about that. It's just that in order to be able to prove those things even more, you're just going to need a little bit more evidence than maybe another couple. So if you are in a relationship with a large age difference or very different cultures or a language barrier, just make sure to add extra evidence into your packet to make sure that when they see it, that they see a genuine relationship.
So the number 2 reason for K-1 visas being denied is fraud via misrepresentation. So basically what this means is lying in any of your applications or in your visa packet. So how would you go about doing that? Don't do it, number 1. But one of those is photoshopping photos, for example. So it's been done before, but for some reason people seem to think that they can fool their consular officers and the United States government by photoshopping photos, photoshopping text messages, emails, and then submitting that in their K-1 visa packet. This again is a big no-no, because once you get caught, trust me, the repercussions are just not worth it.
Yeah, another thing that people do is they falsify their incomes. They think they can just kind of pull a fast one, but really you need to be genuine about your income. Another thing is falsifying affidavits. So for us, my dad and a couple of my friends just kind of wrote a letter saying, hey, we met Innocent, we love him, it's genuine, they're in love. But a lot of people will write those for themselves, and that's a big no-no. So don't try to pull a fast one on the government. They are very good at their jobs. They know exactly what they're looking for.
Absolutely.
So.
And 2 other things is, number 1, you've got to know that in order to be approved for your K-1 visa, you have to pass a medical, as well as not have any serious criminal offenses to your name. Again, people will falsify this information and either get a fake medical certificate. You can't actually get a fake medical certificate because you can only go to a medical officer who's been approved by the US government. So lying on your medical records as well as your criminal records is a big no-no. because if it does come out towards the end of your application that you've lied about either one of these two things, your visa will be denied. So if you do have any criminal offenses, whether they be minor or major, depending on what they are, this works on a case-by-case basis. So what you need to do for any criminal offenses is collect as much information as you can regarding that arrest or whatever way it is you got into trouble with the law. Provide it up front and allow the consular officers to make a decision based on all the information. Don't hold any information back from them.
Yeah. The third most common reason for a K-1 visa denial is that you're unqualified. That can look a lot of different ways, but one of them being that you had to have met within the last 2 years of the date that you filed. So make sure you don't take your time applying because really you do have to be able to prove that you've seen each other and been in the physical presence of each other within 2 years of the date that you file.
The other is income. So the petitioner doesn't meet the basic minimum income requirement. This is a common reason for K-1 visa denials, and it's important that the petitioner be able to meet the financial requirements of the visa. The third is that both the petitioner as well as the beneficiary are legally free to marry. Sounds crazy, I know, but you must remember that both of you must be legally able to be married. So whether you've been divorced, you must be able to provide documentation proving that the divorce was finalized and you're now free to marry. Or if your previous spouse has unfortunately passed away, you must provide death certificates and proof that you are legally free to marry.
And to encourage you, 95% of K-1 visas do get approved. So please don't let this video make you anxious or make you discouraged. The odds are in your favor. We just want to make sure that we are laying out a step-by-step kind of
all the possibilities.
Yeah, all the possibilities of what could happen and how to avoid being in that 5%. So yeah, make sure to check out this video and then the other one about whether or not you are eligible to apply in the first place. And that'll kind of help you gauge whether or not the K-1 visa is the right visa for you and your partner.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions relating to absolutely anything we've mentioned in the video, please just drop it in the comments section. We'll make an effort to respond to every single comment and question that you guys may have. Our email's also on our page, so feel free to contact us with any questions.